and greetings, and welcome back to another edition of Knights of the Turntable. As you can see, we switched up things a little bit. Propex couldn't be here tonight. Rich already did a podcast, so he's a little bit tired. So I'm hosting tonight, Joe Hova, and along with me, I do have Richard Bailey.
What's up?
And I have... your boy Blue.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Blue coming back.
So as you know, we start off with what we've been listening to. So Blue, what have you been listening to this week?
I haven't been. I kind of changed up my rotation a little bit. I still haven't had a chance to listen to Chance the Rapper yet. It's been almost 2 weeks since that's been out, and I still haven't been able to listen to it. But I've been listening to Kendrick, Clips, Slaughterhouse. I went back to listen to that Distance Relatives project that Nas
you took it back.
yeah, and I went back still listening to that Yelawolf album. And I went back to listen to Kids in the Hall, the In Crowd album. So,
funny thing about Yelawolf today, he was on Highly Questionable on ESPN, and I didn't get to watch the interview, but I had it on in the studio at work, and I was just like, holy shit, Yelawolf's on freaking ESPN right now. So that was kind of cool to see.
He was on, I think a couple of days ago, he was on Conan also. So
wow.
So he's doing his rounds right now.
Okay, Rich, what have you been listening to this week?
Okay, I've been listening to Kendrick, of course. Been listening to some Tyler, the Creator, some more Snoop Dogg. And in a surprising twist, I went on ahead and I decided to listen to some 50 Cent's music off of watching that show Power. Which, by the way, if you don't watch that show, I don't know what's wrong with you. You need to check it out. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I haven't really listened to what you guys have been listening to. I already know I need to improve in that area, but we'll get to that later.
Did you listen to that Yelawolf? Like you said, you were last podcast that I missed. That you said, hey, you know
what? I did make that promise. But unfortunately, I didn't get to listen to him yet. This is going to be a light weekend, so more than likely I'll listen to it. And if I do see, okay, it's all right, I'll let you know. But
just let me know.
But if it's trash, Blue.
Hey, that's fine. Let me know. Let me know. I'm ready to ship you the CD. So by all means.
Okay, sounds good.
As for me, actually, I really haven't listened to a whole lot this week. Work was kind of hectic, so I didn't really get to listen to a whole lot. I did manage to play some stuff from the website and stuff, and I was listening to Young Thug Barter 6 right before the show started and stuff. But yeah, this week was a really weird week for me. So I'm trying to think of anything I listened to at the gym, but it was more I listened to some Jay-Z and some older stuff at the gym. So with that being said, let's hop into our first topic. And there's this BET banned artist list, and what it is, it's exactly as you think. It's an artist list of people who are banned from being shown on BET, and that list included. I'm pretty sure Corrupt was on there. I saw Warren G on there, Bone Thugs, The Brat, Onyx. It was technically a lot of the older artists from maybe the 90s, early 2000s. So what artists did you see on this list that made you think, okay, that kind of sucks that they're banned? And why do you think it exists? We'll start with Blue.
The one that I saw that stood out to me was, who was it? It was Nate Dogg. And the Nate Dogg, with his passing, I mean, you think they would play more of his music. I mean, there was a time where you couldn't listen to a song without Nate Dogg on the hook.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how BET doesn't play that. The one I didn't like was AZ. I mean, AZ is one of my favorite artists. Of course, when I saw the list, I saw a lot of what popped out to me was a lot of, as you mentioned, older artists. A lot of East Coast influence that isn't the in thing right now. So yeah, The list is a great list. I mean, if you want to add or listen to a lot of these people, I mean, it's a lot of great music that sadly isn't being played on BET at this point. But as I said, it's not the in thing ultimately. So
Yeah, and hey, that's the thing. We're talking about a BET list. Like,
yeah, so
BET isn't for our generation of music that we listen to. It's not for any of the music that we have listened to in the past. BET right now is for
it's all about that turn up.
yeah, when we were like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So Rich, what did you think of the list, and what artists on there were you surprised to kind of see?
Let me just say right now, this list is highly disrespectful to what real and genuine hip hop is. I see Mos Def is on this list. Don't understand that. Ice Cube is on this list. Don't understand that.
Not at all.
Let's take a step back. A Tribe Called Quest. Why the hell are they on this list? Man, Dead Prez. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know they're very militant. I that song. I'm an African. I know all the stuff that they throw out there. I like the message, but I'm not surprised they're not on the list because, again, as you said, you were nice in the way that you said it, where they're about that turn up. To me, BET, they're still about that buffoonery. Because I remember when they used to have all the type of stuff on there where it was like, highly stereotypical type of stuff. Then they had that show, I don't know if you remember, BET Uncut.
Oh, we all remember Uncut.
Yeah, we remember that.
It used to come on late at night, and then they would show the videos or the videos we can't show you during the daytime.
Yeah.
So they all about the ridiculousness and the foolishness. So I'm not surprised some of these artists are not on there. Very disappointing, though.
Well, the problem with it too is that it's flip-flopped because the real stuff is considered like is the stuff you would play after 2 o'clock because technically nobody wants to see it or whatever, and it's all about like Luis said, like the turn up and all that kind of stuff right now. But it's just weird because like this list has probably been updated, and I think the article said that it has been updated and it's been around since like 2005. But Ice Cube used to get played on BET.
Yeah.
Dogg used to get played on BET. There was somebody else that you guys mentioned that used to get played on BET because I remember seeing their videos on BET. So I don't know.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Is there a reason why they're banned, or they're not going to why we don't want them on the network? We don't want to play their music.
It really wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these artists protest BET because of the music they play. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially Dead Prez. I'm pretty sure it's protest.
That was the other one because I remember Dead Prez was out. I remember hearing about them in high school, and that's where I saw the Hell Yeah video was on BET. So, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like it's just weird to see the flip flop of the culture.
Yeah.
But speaking of kind of like those, I don't want to say conscious artists, but artists with a message. The next topic that we have, Kendrick Lamar visited a high school where his To Pimp a Butterfly album was being used to teach a class. So, Rich, I want to know what you think about this.
Well, I think we've said a lot of times on this show that the album definitely is an important album. It has an impact. It's meant to impact others. The serious messages on there, even though some of the stuff is very dark as well. I'm actually pretty surprised to hear this news. Glad to hear that people are taking the music a step further, using it to educate others. That's awesome. Definitely surprised though to hear this news, but I'm happy for Kendrick because the album definitely is something that is worth listening to. It's unlike anything unlike anything I've heard this year, in terms of the message, rather, because it's very specific. But again, this is an album that is not for everybody, as we have already said on this show. Some people will have a different viewpoint, and then that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
So this happened after he performed at Summer Jam, and it's a high school called High Tech High School. It's in North Bergen, New Jersey, and the teacher, his name's Brian Mooney. He had written a blog post about using To Pimp a Butterfly for his class to analyze Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, and then he followed it up with another blog post, and they both went viral, and that's how Kendrick found out about it. And he's told his, his managers and stuff to set up a meeting so he could come to the school. Blue, your thoughts on this?
I liked it. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's with To Pimp a Butterfly. It's a different message from what most people are listening to, or what most kids are listening to. It's not sex, drugs, money. It's something that actually has a weight on today's world. When it comes to some of the topics that are on that album. What I liked is the way it actually inspired a lot of the kids to perform some of their poetry. Whereas you can already see this album already taking its effect and its influence. Which, I mean, like I said, we talked about this Kendrick, J. Cole, and other conscious rappers influence a whole new generation, and you can already see it with something like it's already influencing the class already. So and what's really amazing is, as we said, the album isn't for everybody, but we have a class of 16-year-olds breaking down the album, kind of going over it into the deeper topics. So I think that's very impressive, and like I said, it's cultivating a new generation to to see the deeper meaning of what hip hop has to offer, as opposed to like just money, sex, drugs, So.
And that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Is that Kendrick was impressed by how many 16-year-olds knew this album and knew the lyrics and knew the concept of it. Whereas he said that in the article, he says that he's he gets his family, like his parents and stuff, and like older people that always come up to him and say, boy, you have a message, thank you for this album and stuff. So he was shocked to like hear that 16-year-olds like knew the album and grasped what he was talking about and stuff. So I want to ask, what artist would you have liked to come to your school when you were in school? And we'll start with Rich.
Oh man, you have to come back to me. That just came out of nowhere. Oh, whoa! You gotta think about that one.
That's not hard at all. For me, I mean, I'd go with Nas, just strictly because of It Was Written and Illmatic. I mean, I would love to take classes on those two albums. I mean, or just to hear his mindset behind those two albums when he was making those.
Wait a second. I have a question.
Okay.
What's up?
Why not J. Cole? Because we already know that you're a J. Cole fan. So why the hell he said Nas? I wasn't expecting him to say that. Well, why not J. Cole?
So J. Cole was in the same grade as us in different areas.
Basically.
So that's why Nas.
So before J. Cole, Nas was my main artist, and the way I saw J. Cole as the second coming of Nas, think of it that way. So.
Okay. Well, I'm still thinking.
He's still processing.
I do have a couple, but I need to think a little bit more. Why don't you go, Joe?
Okay. So high school me was big into Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Ludacris. So if 50 or Luda came to my school, I probably would have like dumbed out and been like super crazy about that, like one of those days, like I would have told like my grandkids and stuff about. So the high school me, that would have been it, but like now probably Jay-Z would be like the big one.
Because of hip hop, or because of some of his business ventures?
Just more because of the hip hop, because I associate a lot of my high school with Jay-Z songs, because that's when I started discovering more and more about his music. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, so I thought about mine, and when I think about when I was in high school, and who I was listening to. But one album that I did listen to, which I liked, even though all the songs weren't excellent, and it is a classic because we will never get another one of these albums, Dr. Dre's 2001 album.
Yep.
I absolutely would have liked to meet Dr. Dre and get some advice on him as to what other business ventures that you will do outside of music, because obviously you ain't trying to do music no more. Yeah, I would like to get some advice. Tell him, music is awesome tracks. Hey, can I meet Snoop? Can you let me meet Snoop? That type of stuff. And yeah, I figure he could educate a little bit on the business side of things. But yeah, also learn about beats and what he was thinking about when he priced them headphones the way that they are now. So, but yeah.
Okay, so if you watching this right now, you can leave a comment and let us know who you would like, if that ever happened to you, which artists that you would like to see. So yeah, do that in the comments right there, or hit us up on Twitter at the Koalition or at Jehovah's MF right now if you're watching it live. So the next thing, and it's been a weird week for indie artists because Troy Ave, like, it came out that he sold 4,500 copies of his album. And he's technically still independent, but, I mean, nobody likes Troy Ave on Twitter. So it was a field day. So to see this news, I don't know. It kind of makes you think. But Ninth Wonder, Pharoahe Monch, did I say that right?
Pharoahe Monch.
Pharoahe Monch, yes. And Talib Kweli have created an independent hip-hop collective called Indy 500, and it's spelled INDIE and then 500. So I want to get your thoughts about these three teaming up, Rich.
Well, check this out. I'm a big Talib fan, so I definitely support this move. Pharoahe is good too. Ninth Wonder is also good, but obviously, Talib is the one whose music I'm most familiar with. I'm not really sure what the main goal is of what they're trying to do, if they did state exactly what they're doing by creating this particular collective. Are they going to be helping up-and-coming artists, or is this just them putting their music together and dropping music albums left and right?
Yeah, it's and that's the thing is with the recent indie success, like you have artists like Tech9 who do like 60,000 just straight up indie and stuff like that. So it's gonna be weird to see. I think it's a good match. Like, even though I'm not the biggest Ninth Wonder fan because like all his drums are the exact same, like it's cool to see it because like these three all fit. Like it's not like trying to put the triangle in the circle. Like you're gonna get a dope album from these three right here.
Yeah.
Blue, what do you think?
I loved it. I mean, I was watching the video on it, and they made a point of the main reason they were coming together is to keep the structure of hip hop solid. Because I mean, if you think about it, if you list off the artists or these three artists, you see a common mindset, and in fact, you can even throw in Common into that group. And it'll be a perfect conscious group ultimately. This actually reminded me of Slaughterhouse, and when Slaughterhouse came together, it was kind of to that same effect, not as much, because I mean with them they're ultimately, the way they came out is they kept the art pure, but then they got signed to Shady.
Yep.
With in this case they kind of made it obvious and made it clear that they're not doing that. What they're doing is getting together to make great music and keep it, as we mentioned, in the independent role, because I mean it seems like that's the way to go now. So
yeah, and these three have already seen success as indies.
Absolutely.
So for them to come together, they kind of already know what they're doing. But it'll just be weird to see how it works out. Do you guys think it'll be successful?
I hope it will be successful. I mean, here's the thing. I thought that maybe it's just me. I mean, I thought that Talib was a little bit more mainstream.
A little bit. Early 2000s, I remember he was more mainstream.
Yeah. So he's going back to full indie now then.
Yeah, because I haven't seen like a Talib joint like pushed, like a mainstream music project would be. Probably since about 2005.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hope it does work. I mean, I think if as you know, Luis mentioned, if Common was in the group, that probably would get them even more attention because we know Common's a little bit more mainstream at this point, with movies and all the other stuff he does. But maybe that'll happen at some point. I'm not sure, but hopefully they are successful. I mean, it does work for them to come together because they all have, you know, their own fan base collective. So I'm pretty sure together that will allow them all to get more fans, more exposure that way. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they put together.
As long as they come up with great music, I mean that's all we can ask for as fans. I mean that's the whole point. I think of the group. Once again, they want to keep hip hop stable. They kind of, I mean they're catering for their fans. I mean if they gain more fans because of it, you know, then hey, you know, good job. But you know, I think it's mainly for their fans. Which I mean, like I said, their fans just care about great music. So.
That's right. Great.
Good hip-hop music.
No, conscious
hip-hop music. My bad. Wrong terminology.
Yeah, they ain't gonna be talking about no turn-up, you know. No, they gonna try to keep it. Well, listen, they all old now, so they can't be talking about this type of stuff. They have to be a little bit more responsible with the message. They shouldn't be talking about going to no club. They in their damn 40, you know, mid-40s. No. Let's keep it civilized.
Joe's still in the building?
Uh-oh. Joe is experiencing some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Joe's Wi-Fi game not that strong.
Oh, whoa. Get it together, Joe. We are live. People, they pay good money to watch this show. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Joe?
There he was. Did Joe have any final words for this topic? No, he does not. Well, let's move on to the next topic, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
Yay! My internet finally works.
Oh, man. Disaster.
Yes, a big disaster. So yeah, we're going on to the next topic, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Hip Hop DX put out this Mount Rushmore, essentially, of hip hop artists, and I'm opening the link on my phone right now. But on there, they had, I remember Jay-Z and Nas are on there, you know, reasonable. Eminem's on there, reasonable.
50 Cent.
50 Cent's on there. That's okay. So it's kind of weird to not see somebody put Biggie or Tupac on there.
I think the list was during a specific time frame. I think they did 2000 to 2004.
Okay. Yeah, it's still trying to load on my phone, so.
That's exactly what it was, 2000 to 2004.
And for 2000 to 2004, I think that's okay. But you also kind of got to look at it, too. Like, the honorable mentions were Outkast and Ludacris. I think Luda had a better run than 50 did.
Uh-oh. Which album was this?
Because technically they only put Get Rich or Die Trying on there.
Technically that was his only good album, I mean.
Yeah, because Massacre came out and that was kind of trash.
Uh-oh. Fans are going to start leaving now if you said that.
So I just, you know, what are your guys' thoughts? We'll start with Blue.
I kind of agree with it. I really agree with most of it because I mean Jay-Z and Nas. I mean that's a given because you had the Blueprint, you had the Black Album, you also had didn't you have Blueprint 2?
Blueprint 2 was out during that time, and Godson was out during that time.
Yeah, Godson was out during that time, but Blueprint 2 was the only drawback. But I mean, even then, you had the Dynasty, that Dynasty album, which I love that album.
And they listed the Black Album for Jay too. For Nas albums, they put Stillmatic, Godson, Lost Tapes and Street's Disciple.
Yeah, because I mean, all those albums are great albums, so you can't really argue with that. Eminem blew up during that time. 50, I mean, In the Club was a fucking huge hit. And like I said, it was a great album, but I think you can argue 50's stance on the Rushmore during that time. You can even technically throw on Kanye, because, I mean, College Dropout came out in 2004. I mean, it depends on how we're looking at it, like, you know, what was big during that time, or are we looking at retrospect, you know, what came out during that time, personally. I don't know. I mean, Kanye and 50 are interchangeable to me, personally.
And that's what I'm looking for right now, to kind of see like where they drew from that 2000 to 2004 range. But it's more of like an impact, I guess. And I mean, you could argue Kanye, even though he had one album, but I mean, they have 50 on here with his one album.
That one album. So, and that's kind of what I meant with that. I mean, you do have honorable mentions. You have Outkast, Ludacris, Nelly's Country Grammar came out during that time
and
too.
Nellyville.
Yeah. So I mean, you can argue that now. Is it better than, or is that impact compared to Kanye's? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Rich has something to say.
Okay, listen, let me go ahead and say this now. I got respect for anyone who is a fan of these artists. It's all good. Eminem, yeah, belongs on the list, so I don't have a problem with that. 50 Cent, the one album he had was good. Is it worthy of being on this list? Hells no, it's not. They obviously made this based upon the sales, as you said. That's what it was all about. Outkast, how the hell is Outkast an honorable mention? They need to be on this, in my personal opinion, because if you're talking about the impact the music has, I think every time, I think I said this on the last show, every time Outkast does an album, they have a different sound to the album.
And not only that, with Outkast, they had Stankonia and Speakerboxxx Love Below during that run.
Yeah, with two great albums.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put 50 over that.
Yes, I agree 100% with that. So they belong on this list. Jay-Z, let me just tell you right now, I mean, listen, I got respect for Jay-Z, but I'm not a Jay-Z fan anymore. So by default, I'm going to say, you probably could get someone else on the list, but we'll go ahead and give it to him because too many people won't like me saying he shouldn't be on the list.
Right.
So a lot of people aren't Jay-Z fans anymore because of the material that came afterwards. I mean, during this time, you couldn't argue Jay-Z was one of the better rappers out there because of the albums that came out during that time frame. Now, afterwards, by all means, let's take him off the list now. But I mean, you can't argue with the Black Album, the Blueprint. I mean,
like this is prime Jay-Z right here. This is Jay-Z dropping 41 in the finals versus Phoenix. Like this is like that Jay-Z. Like he was, in his prime from 2000 to 2004. Like it's hard to like even
can't argue with it.
Him on that.
Can't argue with it. If AJ was here, he could not argue with it.
Oh, really? Well, hey, make sure if he's watching this show, yeah, let's make. I want to see what he thinks about that.
AJ would put Chameleonaire on there.
Yeah, let's see what his response is to that Jay-Z comment. Yeah, Chameleonaire, maybe he'll be on the list. I will tell you this. I am glad to see Nas on the list, but only because I'm a Nas fan. So we already know that I'm a little biased. So.
But those albums, I mean, if you listen to those albums are amazing albums. I mean, that was after Nostradamus and and I Am, which those two were fucking horrible albums.
The crazy thing about this list, though, is that 50 went 6 times platinum with his sales. Eminem went 20 times platinum. Jay did 9, and Nas, out of those albums, went 3 times platinum between all, what are those, 4 albums.
Wow. What's that mean? The people in he didn't really do that well?
I think it leads into what I was about to ask. Like, when you think of that time frame, the 2000 to 2004, 2005 time frame, like, what impact do you remember from that time frame? Because that was high school, like that was literally my high school years. So so Blue, go ahead.
Crunk music, you had Little John. Little John was huge during that time. You had Ying Yang Twins was also pretty huge. Little Flip, David Banner, T.I. I mean, that's when they started coming out with their, the gritty street rap, essentially. As we mentioned, Ludacris was also around there in that time. So but mainly during that time frame, crunk was the biggest thing out there.
That's what and Jay-Z versus Nas. Like those are
the battle. Yep.
Which is pretty much non-existent now. They're buddy.
Yeah, but I mean that feud was big during that time too. So I mean that's when those two albums came out. That's when Takeover. That's when Ether came out too. So
that's right, Ether. And then Nas proceeded to diss other people like Kobe Bryant in that Streets Disciple album.
We lost them.
Technical difficulties. Well, let me go ahead and say this right now. Yeah, I do remember a lot of that crunk music, so to speak. Little John and all these other guys. I was like, what the hell is this? But some people like it, so I'm not gonna be a hater with that stuff. Yeah, that was very, very big time high school days.
During this time, I think even Jay-Z came out with that mashup, that Linkin Park mashup. Yep. What's it called? Collision Course? Isn't it Collision Course?
Collision Course came out. Unplugged was out.
Oh yeah, well that was the movie, right?
Well, Death of a Dynasty, I think, came out right around that time. Unplugged was the MTV album where he did all of his hits with Roots.
Okay.
What else? He dropped the S. Carter mixtape, and he had the S. Carter shoes during that time.
Yeah.
Can't argue with Jay-Z being on that list. Can't argue with it.
Well, hey, listen, you can't argue with it, but you can damn sure not like it. That's
that's fine. That's fine.
So then, who would you, if you're not satisfied with that list, who would you replace on this list? Rich.
Does it have to be from the 2000, or is this today's list, like the current artists?
No, the one that Hip Hop DX did.
Oh, these guys. Well, this is a very limited option. Well, no, Outkast. Put Outkast on here.
Outkast in place of
honorable mention. No, let them replace 50 Cent because they need to get on here. Obviously, there's two of them, so there's not going to be that much room to put that many people up on there. So we have to think about that decision. Like I said, Nas belongs on the list. Not Eminem, he could stay on the list as well. But 50 Cent, listen, I like that album. I like a couple songs off the album. But nah, son, how the hell are you gonna put this up over some other stuff that came out? Makes no kind of sense.
Blue,
are you in favor of the list, or would you replace anybody?
I'd probably replace 50 with Kanye. I think that would be my main swap out.
Wait, hold on a second. Kanye was 2000 as well.
2004.
Which album? Not the debut.
College Dropout. It was his debut album.
It was the debut album.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Why the hell isn't he on this list then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because if you put 50's debut album, you put the impact of College Dropout as opposed to 50's. I mean, I'll tell you Kanye every time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love 50's album, but Kanye.
Well, the thing with 50's album though is and I can see the reason why it's on here is that it opened the doors for. It was the last great New York album, from what a lot of people say. Is the last great, solid, front to back New York album.
But really, was it really? Because it was produced by a lot of it was produced by a West Coast producer. So was it really?
I know. But the impact of In the Club, and then it opened the door for G Unit. I can see why they put him on here.
Yeah, G Unit. Yeah.
But you also got to look, if you're going to add Kanye to this list, like Blue wants to do, you have to look at it like this. Kanye's buzz was built through working with Jay-Z and working with Rockefeller, and then he had Slum Village and Dilated Peoples, and then he had the Boost commercial with the Game and Luda, and then he produced on Game's album, he produced on Luda's album. And he produced on Diplomats and Cam, and all of that led up to College Dropout and the switch in what hip hop sounded like. And Twista. Like, you can't forget the work he did on Twista's album.
Cannot forget that, and that's why I think Kanye deserves it to be on there as opposed to 50.
So I understand your Kanye one, because that's another thing that I remember about that era is Kanye, because I had to have everything he did. Like, he did this song with Little Brother. It was like right before I started college, and I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's called I See Now, and it has Consequence on it. It's like one of the illest samples I've ever heard in my life, but like it's just one of those tracks that I had to hear because I was a big Kanye fan. I would put Luda over 50 though, and I see why Rich puts Outkast, because the impact of, I mean, Speakerboxxx Love Below was the first rap album to win a Grammy, right? Like Album of the Year Grammy?
I think so, yeah.
So I see why that, and Stankonia, I mean, Stankonia is amazing to listen to. Mm-hmm. But Luda had the juice. And when I say Luda had the juice, he put out 4 albums in 4 years, and none of them were duds. There were no dud tracks on there. Like, it was fun. He was embracing it, and it was just fun to see him come from what he was doing to being this like guy, like he was he was basically the new face of the South at that point in time. So that's why I would put Luda on there.
That sounds good. You can do that.
As long as no one puts Ja Rule on there, I'm happy.
Whoa.
Ja Rule deserves to stay out.
Yeah, why not Ja Rule?
Garbage. Hey, to quote Jehovah, trash boat.
Yo, Ja Rule had hits though. Like, we're not gonna ignore that.
Hey.
What hit? I hope this is not gonna be a song he tried to sing.
Whoa! Look. The whole reason 50 Cent exists is because he took Ja Rule's swag and bullied him out of the game.
Thanks 50 for bullying Ja Rule, because I remember that time frame. I was thinking, man, hip hop. I had a strong dislike for Ja Rule, and I'm glad he kicked him out.
And by the way, what did that result in? Now 50 Cent can't even sell albums, so they both lost.
Hey, that's fine, because Ja Rule being out of the game, I'm happy with that. So I'll take a loss for another loss. That's cool.
No, we're gonna pay homage to Ja Rule one of these days on this show. I'm a guarantee it, damn it.
Here we go.
I'm gonna have a bunch of technical difficulties that day.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for the show today. That was our last topic. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Last words, Blue, go ahead.
Support your artist, Rich, Yelawolf, next time.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget. Hey, I'm gonna constantly remind you. Don't forget, listen to that album.
I'm gonna say something when you get to me.
Support your artist.
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, so once again, thank you for having me on the show. Sorry that I did not host tonight, but man, it's been a rough week, so glad that you were able to take the reins, Joe. As for the Yelawolf comment, I will listen to Yelawolf. If, and I do mean if, I am not impressed, you were going to be the first one I come after on the next
That's
podcast.
fine. Hey, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're going to hear about it in the group meetings.
Yeah, the first one. But hey, maybe it's better than that horrible album by
that Raekwon. Hey, that Raekwon album, garbage.
No, Raekwon and Ass Up Rocky. Those are the albums that are just absolutely horrible so far this year. But it's all good. Different vibes, right? So we got fans. So If you like those artists, don't listen to what I said.
Hey, man, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. You said it better than I could say it.
JoeHovesMF.com. Check that out. Also, thecoalition.com. A lot of great stuff. E3 week is next week, so probably going to take a back burner with the hip-hop stuff because all the video game stuff is awesome, and they're going to be covering it. So make sure to check that out, too. Also, hit the I at the top right hand of the screen and the annotation. And if you like what we're doing, you want to support us, drop a few dollars so we can make some improvements and stuff. Go ahead and do that. We are accepting donations for thecoalition.com. So hit that I annotation at the top of the screen. For Blue and Rich, I'm Joe Hova, and we will talk again next Friday night on Nights of the Turntable.
Peace.